Hey, oops, drawing on myself. Hey, kia ora, Helen Brums here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1514. Whew, can't believe how many I have done. Hang on, I'm going to cross off today's one. There we go. Masterminding and miscellaneous. So today is we had our mastermind group today, and it was awesome. And the thing I love when we get together with our mastermind group is we get to talk about, we start the day off with talking about our wins, what wins we have had since our last meeting. And I have to tell you, the people in this mastermind group are rocking it. There are some amazing wins going on in the mastermind group, some amazing accomplishments being done. Some people are surprising themselves with what they've been able to accomplish. They can't quite believe it. But you know, you get in a mastermind group and you get given action steps and you take those actions and everything opens up for you. It is just amazing. And then we went on to learn some new different topics and things, and we had breakout rooms today, so we got to talk about smaller groups about some of the struggles we're having and brainstorming ideas on how we can get through that. And it's just incredible, some of the ideas some people have, and I can't give you details on all that because it's NDA, non-disclosure. But that was just really cool. And then this afternoon, I got to help a friend with some information that she's planning on doing an event, and so I got to help give her some tips and tricks and on how to make it successful, some of the logistics side of things that she needs to look out for, and we just had a good old chin wag. It was awesome. It was just an amazing time. I don't even know how long we spent together. Might have been over. Yeah. Might have been. Oh no, I think we just did an hour. Or maybe it was 2 hours. I don't remember. But then in between that, I was I needed some mental downtime from all of the information that we'd had from the mastermind group this morning, and before I had a meeting with this person, because I needed to have a fresh mind and everything else. And so I got on the old trusty iPad here, and I was playing one game, and I thought, I'm going to do some logistic puzzles or something. And one of the commercials, one of the adverts that comes up when you're playing games on things, was a logic family tree, or family tree logic, I think it's called, or something. I thought, so that sort of perked up the genealogy side of my brain and went, oh, what's this all about? And so I went and had a look, and basically they give you a family tree, and you've just got these blank you got these blank circles with lines connecting here and there. Then down below that, you have different clues, and then you've got this row of faces and these clues down the bottom, and you have to figure out from the clues who goes in what circle on the family tree. And I was like, oh, this is so much fun. And it got me hooked. And I actually managed to make it here on time today, because I was hooked on this thing. Oh, just do one more day. Just do one more. But it's a really cool game. And it's the only game that I know of, not that I have gone looking for them, that is related to genealogy and family trees. I have not seen any other games out there that have a specific topic of genealogy or family trees. This is the first one I've come across, and I love logic puzzles. And people are going to go, but you're scatterbrained. Yeah, I know I'm scatterbrained, but I love logic puzzles. I love them. I love this person was wearing green, this one was wearing red, and out of the 5 people that are on here, one is named Sarah, one has a blue coat, one likes ice cream, and you got to figure out who and it gives you the five people, and you then got to figure out from the clues, okay, well, I've got to cross those ones off because they don't match, and then you got to put them in order as to what color coat, what their name was, what color coat they were wearing, what snack they got, were they the first, second, third, or fourth, or fifth in the store, and how much did it cost them, that type of thing. And you've probably all seen do I have a logic book here? No, my puzzle books are on the bookcase. And so you have these logic puzzles, and I love logic puzzles, but this one is a logic puzzle, but on a family tree. And I'm just like, yes, yes, I want to go do some more. And then when I got off a call with my friend, I said, we talked about what we're going to be doing this evening. So I'm going to go make a bacon and egg pie because I've been having this hankering for bacon and egg pies for I don't know how long. So I have the uncured bacon, I have eggs, and I was sort of like, oh, I really don't want to have the wheat pie crust, but I don't really have an option because it's sort of like I really can't be bothered figuring out how to make a pie crust with cassava flour. I was just lazy. So when I was at the market the other day, I actually bought a pie crust, frozen pie crust. So they're sitting on the counter defrosting, and I got pie crust sheets that I can use as the top. And so they're all sitting on the counter, getting to room temperature. And when I got out there, the frozen ones were still a little on the frozen side, and I was like, yeah, no, can't do them yet. And plus, I was looking at the time too, from when I got off the call to when I had to get on here, and I was like, yeah, it takes about 30 to 40 minutes for one of these to bake. And I just didn't have the time because I was like thinking the prep time, making the pies, that's really easy. It's only going to take like maybe 10 minutes to do that. And that's about the same time it takes the oven to heat up, sometimes a little longer depending on the temperature. But then once it's in there, it takes 30 to 40 minutes to cook. And I was like, yeah, but then as soon as it comes out of the oven, I'm going to want a piece. So I'm going to do this, go take Zeffy for a walk, come back and make my bacon and egg pie. So that's kind of been my day. Oh, and I also remembered too, like with 2 minutes to spare before I had to come online, to go and get my whiteboard. Because I remember telling you guys that yesterday that I had discovered the whiteboard that I had put my saying, no matter what happens today is always super fantastic and sparkling, on Brad's whiteboard that we had hanging in the living room where his hospital bed was. And I put it up there 12 hours, less than 24 hours before he passed away. And today, it was 6 years ago today that I wrote that saying on the whiteboard. And of course, when I was unpacking the other day, I happened to find the whiteboard and it still has this written on it. So I'm going to see if I can get this up here so you can see it. And this is what I wrote on there. And I even have my daughter-in-law's spelling correction on here because I missed that T. So she leaned across and put the T in there. But this was how it looks. I have not been able to bring, when we moved, when I moved out of the house and was packing everything up, I could not bring myself to throw this board out, nor could I bring myself to take this off the board. But I have a big whiteboard that goes on an easel, and this happens to be the same, a little shorter than the whiteboard, so it went into the whiteboard case. And when I unpacked the whiteboard the other day to put it up in my study room, this was in there. So this was written out 6 years ago today and hasn't been touched. So, well, apart from the fact of putting the T on there, this has not been touched as far as changing it or anything. So that's the original message I wrote on the board, and Brad passed away less than 24 hours later. And then when I was sitting next to his body at 4 o'clock the next morning, just after 4 o'clock the next morning, I could not see no matter what happens. All I could see is today is always super fantastic and sparkling. And I thought to myself when I saw that, let's put that there and get back on my seat. Hi, I'm back. And when I saw that, my thought was, it's true. It really is a super fantastic sparkling day because Brad was no longer in pain. He was free of cancer. His time on earth was up. We've all got a finite time here on earth. We have no idea when it's time for us to go. And people always say, oh, they went too young, or they got so much to live for and all that. I totally get that. But I also know that we are a small part in a bigger plan that we have no idea what that plan is. And we're only here for a certain amount of time. And when we're done with our mission here on earth, when this soul and body have completed their mission, the soul moves on to another plane of existence. That's my belief. Some people may agree with it, some people won't, and you are totally entitled to your opinion and your belief, and I totally respect that. But that was just seeing that today is always super fantastic and sparkling on that board when I was sitting with his body the next morning at it was just after 4 o'clock and in the morning, and I saw that on the board and my heart was breaking because he had gone. But I also knew too that he was somewhere, he was in a better place and didn't have to worry about the cancer in his getting into his spine. He didn't have to worry about any more treatments. He was free of pain. he was able to move and run, and he'd been reunited with Gus, our dog, who had gone 18 days, had gone on September the 6th, 18 days beforehand. So it really was a super fantastic sparkling day from that perspective. And I always remember that morning, after they'd taken Brad's body, after the hospice nurse had come and the undertakers had come and they'd taken Brad away and everybody had left, we had Brad's middle son and his wife were staying with us. And they went back to bed. The older son went back home, had gone back home, and the house was quiet. And I remember standing there in the dining room, and when Brad came home, we had the slats on the blinds were open, and we were in a place that was up on a hill, so people couldn't see into the house anyway. And I had windows open, so he was getting the fresh ocean breeze coming in because we were in Solana Beach and we were only half a mile from the beach. And I remember just airing the house out. I was trying to dehospitalize him because he had been in hospital for 87 days and just getting that recycled air, whatever it is that they have in the hospitals. There was one time we were able to get him to a wheelchair and I pushed him outside. But because of the heat of the day, we were only out there for like 5 minutes before we had to go back in. So my goal was to dehospitalize him. And so I had windows open so he was getting the fresh breeze. I had plenty of blankets on there if he got cold. But I remember standing there in the dining room looking out the window and I saw the most perfect sunrise that I'd ever seen. And I love watching sunrises. I love getting out there and watching the sun come up and listening to the world wake up around you. And I remember standing there at that window and the most perfect sunrise I'd ever seen. And I knew he was okay. And that's what it's all about. Making, when your loved one passes away, is getting those messages that they're okay. And so I still can't bring myself to wipe that board off. I still can't. So it's probably going to stay like that for a while. But I think about, even when after he had passed away and I was in the house for it was September 17, and I left the house in end of April of 2019. And that board stayed up with that message on it the entire time. And when it came to leaving the house and I took the board down off the wall. And the number of times I sat there and I thought, I must got to change the message on it. I could not bring myself to get out of the chair or walk over to it with an eraser and markers and change. I just could not do it. And I still, looking at that, I still can't bring up I still can't, I still can't bring myself to wipe off the whiteboard. So even the day that I thought, how am I going to, I couldn't bring myself to throw it out. I couldn't bring myself to clean it. And I was sort of like, what am I going to do? I'm going to stick it in storage, but then it will get damaged. And that's when I saw my whiteboard bag there. And I thought, I wonder if that will fit in there. And it did. So that's where it's been sitting for the last 4.5 years, is in that whiteboard bag. And when I pulled out my whiteboard the other day, what else is in? What's this other thing in here? And pulled it and went, oh, yes, I remember writing that. So it was 6 years ago today that I wrote that message on that whiteboard, and it's never been taken off. When will it be done? Right now, it's as soon as I finished here, it's going to go back into that whiteboard bag again. And how long will it be in there for? I don't know. But, it's just one of those things. There are some things you can do. It took me months before I could even bring myself to clear Brad's clothes out of the closet. And I put them on I put them on the bed in the guest room, and they stayed there for months. And then it was the beginning of 2019. I had my 2 older stepsons come over, and in the middle son brought his wife, and I sat there and wrote down things while she folded all the clothes and put them into bags. And then the older son took them and dropped them off at Goodwill. I couldn't bring myself to do it, but with their help, I was able to do it. So sometimes you need somebody, in a time of crisis, or, when you're going through something that's very emotional and stuff, sometimes you just need somebody there to help you through that time, just help you clear out, not take over and help you clear out, but do the clearing at your pace and with your instructions. So that was one of those things that's sort of like, okay, I need to fold these things up and get them in a bag. I've also got to record them for tax purposes and stuff like that. And so we got stuck in and got the stuff folded and into plastic bags, and they all got taken. I didn't have to have the job of taking to Goodwill. So I was so appreciative of having that assistance to do that and to help me with things and all that. So I've been very, very blessed with 3 incredible stepsons. I call them my boys. I've known them over 20 years. In fact, known them since 96. Yeah, since 1996. In fact, I think it was September of 96 I met them, or was it October? Was it September or October of 96 that I met them? So that's a few years ago, 27 years ago. Is that right? Yeah, 27 years ago. Either this month or next month that I met the kids. So I've been in their lives a long time. So I consider them my boys. They're my boys. So I may not have given birth to them, but I've been in their lives for 27 years. They're my boys. Anyway, but it's just been one of those days. And tomorrow, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I've got 3 presentations on all around the same time. I've got a monthly call that I do with a group of people that starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. I had a pop-up come up at 9 o'clock. And then I've also got a writer's Q&A on at 9 o'clock as well. So 3 events tomorrow morning. And I'm just sort of like, and tomorrow is the 6th anniversary of Brad's passing. And I don't know what state of mind I will be in. I'm just going to be very gentle with myself tomorrow. I really have no plans for tomorrow. What I will do during tomorrow, I don't know. It's just going to be just a gentle, but I'll have some bacon and egg pie to consume. I love bacon and egg pie. And I just had this hankering the other day to have that. And I wish you could see Zeffie's face right now. She's got a chin up on the armrest, just looking at me. Actually, I don't know if I can. There you go. You can see her face there. Just on the thing. She's been doing this basically all day, just watching me. I got this really cool picture of her earlier on the couch. And I have this blanket that has like a smooth side on one side. And it's got a fluffy side on the other side. And so I have that over this couch. And that's sort of become her couch. It's the love seat. And this was her on the, I don't know if this is going to show up very well. This was her on the love seat today, just staring at me. And her and I just sat there and stared at each other for like 5 minutes before. And we kept winking. The funny thing, we kept winking back because it was like she'd wink. And so I'd wink. And then she'd wink. And I'd wink. And she'd change eyes. And I'd change eyes. It was the funniest thing. But you never know what's going to happen or things that are going to happen and all that. But she's been very conscious of where I've been in the house today and has been following me around. Since she's had her stitches taken out, she's kind of eased off of the following me around the household, and I've stopped asking her to come with me because otherwise, when she had the stitches in, she has to be within my eyesight at all times or the cone goes on. But since she had the stitches out, I've eased up on that a lot, but she still follows me around the house. And today she's been particularly clingy. So she's feeling something that she knows what's going on and all of that. So it'll be interesting to see what she does tomorrow. But anyway, that's it from us for today. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Get in contact with them. If you just call them up to say hi, just wanted to say hi and say I love you. That's all you got to do. Just let them know that you love them. You never know when they're going to go. Some people, they get the chance to say goodbye. For others, they don't get that chance. It's just sudden. 1 second the person's there next to you alive, and the next person they're gone, and the next second they're gone. It can be that quick. My mum was telling me about neighbors that used to live across the road from them in one place, and she says, "Oh, do you remember these people?" And I went, "Yep." She said, "Well, her and her husband were flying to Canada for their vacation, and she suddenly died on the flight over there. No warning, no nothing. By the time they arrived in Canada, she was gone. On the flight from New Zealand to Canada, she died." And I said, "Well," my mum was sort of like, "She could have waited till after the vacation." I was like, "Oh, this is, and so you never, ever know when your time on earth is up. Some people will get an inkling about it and some people don't. When you've got terminal illnesses and stuff, when you're getting near the end, and family members can see that. And I knew Brad was getting near the end of his time here on earth, but I just didn't want to acknowledge it. I was, one of the hospice nurses comes in and throws her some acronym, and I go, "What's that for?" And she tells me, I says, "We do not talk about that in this house." Like I shut her down immediately. I was not dealing with that. And she's like, "Oh." And of course, she's doing this in hearing of Brad. And I'm sort of like, "No, we are not talking about that here." Even though I knew deep down inside that he was getting ready to go, Consciously, I wasn't accepting it. Subconscious had accepted it, but subconsciously not accepting that. So, but anyway, tell people that you love them. Call them up and say hi. Just wanted to say I love you. And that's all the end of that's the whole conversation. If they want to talk some more, then talk some more. Otherwise, just give them the call to say that. But keep those that you love close. Let them know you love them. And we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konera. Oh, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Hey, konera.